watching Traders Morning Setups with Dex the Algo Capitalist. Dex created his Pulse Wave price trigger reports over 2 decades ago, and he's been using them to ride the pulse waves as a full-time trader ever since. Find out more about Dex's reports and sign up for our next webinar to learn how to use them at pulsewavetrading.com.
Good morning. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful night's rest and you're ready to get back in here and banging out with these markets. Let's get right into the overnight session. So right now the US dollar index is actually powering itself up, at least attempting to. It's up 3 pips at 103.74. The euro is down 8 pips at 108.26. Pound sterling is up 2 pips at 126.26, and the Aussie is down 60 pips at 65.60. The Bitcoin futures is up 115 at 42,390, and the Ethereum futures is down 29.5 points at $2,225.50. Crude oil futures up 48 cents per barrel at $73.49 per barrel. Nat gas up 6 cents at $2.76. Gold futures up $2.30 per ounce, trading at $2,044.50 per ounce. Silver down 13 cents per ounce, trading at $24.77 per ounce. Copper is off 3 cents at $3.80. Dow futures down 135 points at 36,131. The E-mini S&P 500 futures down 19 points at 45.57 1/4. E-mini Nasdaq 100 futures down 82 3/4 points at 15,786. Russell down 8.4 points at 1876.50. Soybean futures are up 7 cents at $13.13 per bushel. We have corn up a penny at $4.86 a bushel, and wheat down a penny at $6.19 per bushel. As far as the 2-bar Charlie morning setups go, we have a bearish 2-bar Charlie setup in Bitcoin futures, and that normally means we expect an all-day down day with the market finishing in the red. That is not the case, though, for the Ethereum futures. All right, as we continue to scan so far, nothing else coming up. And it looks like Bitcoin is the sole winner. It's the only one with the 2-bar Charlie setup for the morning. All the other markets are quiet. Today is Turnaround Tuesday. Normally, if the markets were down on Monday, you can expect the markets to be up on Tuesday. That's not always the case, but it does happen often enough that it earned that name. As far as the news today, well, in markets, meet the AI experts leading the charge at 9 top hedge funds. In tech, what does the future of VMware look like under Broadcom? And in business news, Elon Musk's apocalypse-driven pitch for the Cybertruck. But first, retail deja vu. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, Walmart and Target are embarking on some serious tributes to each other. 2 of the country's largest retailers are taking pages from each other's playbooks as they adjust to a changing economic landscape. From the vibes at Walmart's store of the future to the proliferation of Target's new low price deals, the similarities between the 2 stores are becoming undeniable. The commonalities go beyond physical appearance or deals. Their executives even sound like one another. Christina Hennington, Target's chief growth officer, recently said the retail giant wants to be a holiday destination for affordable joy, thanks to Target's everyday low prices. If that phrase sounds familiar, it's because it's been a key part of Walmart's pricing strategy for decades. It's not uncommon for retail chains to borrow ideas from one another. Home Depot and Lowe's have been cribbing ideas from one another for decades, and Walmart founder Sam Walton openly admitted that he borrowed plenty of ideas from Soul Price, the originator of the wholesale club model. But what makes the Walmart Target dynamic so interesting is the distinct type of consumer they typically serve. While there is bound to be some overlap, shoppers tend to gravitate toward one of the two stores. The dividing line is often economic status. Historically, upper middle class consumers opted for Target, coined Target, while lower income shoppers headed to Walmart, and thus they have been dubbed Walmartians. However, stubborn inflation forced consumers to be more diligent with their shopping decisions. That's led Walmart to see an increase in higher income clientele, a trend they're leaning into. Meanwhile, Target, i.e., Target, is offering more competitive promotions in a bid to meet consumers at a more comfortable price point for them. But both companies going after each other's target audience isn't about crushing the competition. It's more a representation of the current economic landscape. Even if it's about swapping customers, that's a tricky strategy. A shift in a company's core offering could alienate its most loyal customers. After all, more than beating up on one another, these rivals have a bigger fish to worry about. Dun dun dun, dun. Amazon. The people leading hedge funds' AI era, investment firms have been scooping up AI talent to help boost productivity and performance while cutting costs. Isn't that what you would expect? Well, of course. But you got top funds like Millennium and AQR and Point 72. What can we expect from the Fed regarding rate cuts next year? A recent note from Barclays is projecting 4 rate cuts next year, but analysts at ING believe central bankers will make 6 cuts in 2024. Right. I will believe it when I see it. I don't think they're cutting anything next year. I think that the wheels have already come off the bicycle, and next year the biker falls off the bike. Israeli is reportedly investigating claims of increased short seller activity ahead of the Hamas attacks. A research paper highlighted a spike in bets against the MSCI Israel Exchange Traded Fund and hundreds of Tel Aviv Stock Exchange securities before the terrorist attacks. The Israel Securities Authority told Reuters the matter is under investigation by all relevant parties. Isn't that interesting? They called this whole crisis over there Israel's 9/11, and now there are other comparisons to 9/11. Because remember, on 9/11, there was humongous short selling in airline stocks, though authorities claim they couldn't track whose account this belonged to. And supposedly the person had pocketed $2 million in profits, but they never, ever touched the account after the trades were done. That's what they expect you to believe. I have covered that aspect in great detail. If you do a little search on our YouTube channel, you should find those videos where I went into great detail debunking that myth. In tech news, the AI startups that attracted the most investment this year, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Starlink AI topped the list of AI startups that raised money in 2023. But more than 200 startups have raised at least $50 million this year. A leaked memo, Spotify's CEO message announcing layoffs. The company is cutting 17% of its headcount, around 1,500 employees. CEO Daniel Ek wrote in his email that being lean is not just an option, but a necessity. Isn't it interesting how, right during Christmas time, around Christmas time, that's when corporations like to lay people off. It's like a way of the company saying, we appreciate your time and we appreciate your energy and attempting to become a company man, but didn't they tell you there's no future in being a company man? Well, here's your wake up call. Here's this pink slip, and the sheriff will proudly walk you out and escort you to your car in the parking lot. Thank you and have a good day. And they're also very, 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 very vicious when it comes to targeting which employees to take the heads off of. And that's usually those that are getting nearer to retirement or about to become 100% fully vested in their pension. Those get the axe first. I've even seen it where a day before a person becomes fully vested, they get the axe, they get laid off. That's some real vicious stuff for you right there. VMware's future under Broadcom could see change and uncertainty. Insiders and leaked memos point to drastic changes at the company. Competitors are eyeing VMware's customers, and VMware employees are facing a bit of a culture shock under Broadcom. In business news, Elon Musk Cybertruck apocalypse. The Tesla CEO says his long awaited truck is built for the apocalypse. In reality, that's silly, but his belief in a truck that can survive suggests an even more dystopian mindset. So the real question is, what does Elon Musk know that the rest of the world does not know? Building an apocalypse truck. So that means that it's probably bulletproof, blast proof. It's basically a tank. If you think about it, he is designed in building tanks. So you can drive around the street like Mad Max beyond Thunderdome. Remember how they had to trick their vehicles out? They had to put spikes and stuff on their cars and harpoon weapons and stuff of that nature. So they see a very, very scary future coming into play, especially for the US of A, because the US of A has some parallels and similarities to the Titanic. Remember, the Titanic was said to be the unsinkable ship, that nothing could stop it. It was the most elegant of luxury liners in its day. Nothing was ever created like it. It was a marvel of human ingenuity and said to be over the top. And guess what? That's not what happened. It sunk. And the rest is history. But they're saying the same thing about the US. They're saying the US is impregnable. It can never be invaded. It can never be toppled. It can never be defeated in a full on war. And it has an undefeated track record, which we know also is not true. Vietnam comes to mind. The war on terror comes to mind. The war on drugs comes to mind. I'd say the U.S. is batting 1,000, wouldn't you? These are wars that the U.S. has waged and has lost, glaringly so. But yet the myth perpetuates that the U.S. is impregnable and invincible. No country is invincible. Every major world power that has ever been on the earth has had a span of between 200 to 250 years of existence before fading away into history. And the U.S. is coming up on that 250-year mark as we speak. The only exception to the rule was Rome. Rome lasted about 500 years. It's the only exception. And it's supposed to be revived here in these end times, in these last days. So the question is, where goeth we from here? Well, back around the year of 1994 or so, some mathematicians and physicists at a particular company, I forget the name of this think tank, but they had done some models, and they had showed that They believed in the distant future at the time that the U.S. would fail, collapse on multiple fronts: physically, economically, socially, and morally. And that eventually the country would just go away quietly and just turn inwardly, throw up borders around the entire country, and basically cut itself off from the rest of the world, like China did back in the day. That was their prediction. And this is back around the year about 1994 or so. Kind of scary that we're facing that, looking down at the opposite end of the barrel right now. That's quite frightening, but facts are facts. A millennial who rushed into being a manager in her 20s shares her regrets. She said that it's important for managers to help their direct reports with their development and career trajectories. But at 26, she was still navigating her own career trajectory. Gen Z is opting out of working for others. Instead, they want to work for themselves. 1 in 3 Gen Zers believes the best way to build wealth is to be self employed, according to a new survey. Gen Z is the hustle generation, and they reject a lot of millennial attitudes about careers. In other news, people are fleeing California. Did y'all know that? And here's where they're plotting to move to, coming to a town near you. I have to say, I've seen a lot of California license plates here on the East Coast. 4 aging secrets of Japanese super centurions form a longevity researcher whose great grandmother lived to 115. Well, one of the reasons why that was possible is because they ate organically and breathed clean air, free of chemtrails. The best states to find a job are ranked. Ukrainian soldier admits some of the Marines trying to defend a key river against Russian attack can't even swim. Once again, you have realities and then you have the myths, right? How is it that some of the Marines can't even swim? See what I'm saying? It's starting to unravel, folks. Klarna is freezing hiring and turning to AI tools such as ChatGPT to pick up the slack. Amazon holds an exclusive meeting at its cloud conference to give XXL customers like Salesforce a forum to air grievances. I got a tech job and quadrupled my salary to $400,000 after leaving law. You don't need a traditional tech background to succeed in the industry. Well, that's an old truth when it comes to business in general. You don't have to be a doctor to build your own hospital. Duh. Sam Altman's biggest lesson for founders: control freaks win. I traveled to over 7 countries in 2023. Here are 4 of the most affordable cities I visited. And chart of the day, the S&P 500 is running into an obstacle that could make or break the bull rally. Well, I went over that in our last night's chart segment. If you missed it, you're going to want to go to pulsewavetrading.com, log into your dashboard where you can find the replay of that. What's happening today? Well, the Dancing with the Stars season finale is tonight on ABC. The stars in contention for gold are Exati Gomez, Allison Hannigan, Jason Mraz, Charity Lawson, and Arina Madix. The 2024 Major League Baseball Draft Lottery will be broadcast live. It'll air on the MLB Network. The lottery will give teams that didn't make the playoffs a chance to land their top picks. And in earnings today, we have AutoZone, Asana, along with a few other companies. So you definitely want to know what's up with that. All right, let's see here. Do I have anything else for you before I let you go? Let's see. Let's see. Let me scan here. Nope, that seems to be it. That's all I got for you guys for today. You know, I don't usually keep you long on these pre-market shows. So it is what it is. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day and all that good stuff. And if you haven't already done so, you're definitely going to want to go to pulsewavetrading.com. And we have a lot of things going on there. Also, in the links in the description of this video will also show you to some other interesting things that we have been working on. And one of those things is the podcast over on Rumble. As you know, we can no longer talk freely here on YouTube because of the extreme censorship. Seems like every other word has to be muted out. So for that reason, we've gone over to Rumble so that we could be free. You know, Dobby is free. And with that being said, remember, the system works if you work the system. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And on that note, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.